Children.
Pregnancy, nursing.
Okay, I think the number one thing ever discovered for children's nutrition at this point, based on what I know, is marine phytoplankton. Now we're finally getting an isolated product, meaning it's not a product with a bunch of other things in it like herbs and stuff, just the marine phytoplankton. What that does, it's the minerals, it's mitochondria food, so it has growth factors in it. For example, a whale becomes, from like this to, this on one food, which is plankton. So for children's growth, there has to be, in the raw food genre, there has to be certain foods with growth factors in it. I've seen that children who don't have the right nutrition don't have really vigorous growth. We've found which foods those are. Marine phytoplankton is one. Coconut is another one. Goji berry is another one. And those foods have something that other foods don't have. Now, there's other things that come out of the sea that also have important growth factors that may be considered by a breastfeeding mother, because these oils that we take in go through the breast milk, and one of them is krill oil. Krill oil has growth factors in it. Krill is also eaten by whales. And this is in the basis of all the plants is marine phytoplankton. At the basis of all the animals on the whole planet is krill. There's probably 10 times, probably more, it might be 1,000 times, more, nobody knows, more krill in the oceans than there are ants on the land.
Do you know what krill is in Dutch?
So, same.
I think it's the same word.
Oh,
Yeah, and so krill oil for a mother, because
krill
it's so high in growth factors and DHA and EPA, long chain omega-3 fatty acids, is really important.
And you're not concerned about pollution in the waters?
Well, most krill is actually farmed out of the Antarctic Ocean. Now, the Antarctic Ocean is a lot less polluted than, for example, our daily organic vegetables. There is no way we're ever going to be able to completely escape pollution, because DDT has been found in polar bears. It's present on the entire planet. There's no organism that's not affected by it. So we have to do the best we can in an unusual situation. We're in a disturbed situation, obviously. And therefore we have to do the best we can to make sure we get the best nutrition with the least amount of side effects and the least amount of exposure to artificial chemicals. Protein now. Let's talk about protein.
Yeah.
The best natural source of protein for children is superfoods. Goji berry, hemp seed, spirulina, blue-green algae, bee pollen. These are complete protein sources, and they're real protein. They're not some kind of a meat product, which isn't even really real protein. Actually, most meat is deficient in protein, and then when you cook it, you lose another half of the protein right there. So a lot of people who are eating meat actually have protein deficiencies, like tryptophan deficiencies, phenylalanine deficiencies, which are amino acids that are subject to being destroyed by heat. And that's extremely common. I mean, everybody has tryptophan deficiency who eats meat because it's not present in the meat. Okay, so another big factor is vitamin B12. Either supplementally taking vitamin B12 if you're a vegan, taking in, for example, krill oil is really good because it has vitamin B12 in it, and it meets other needs as well. We're looking right now into research that marine phytoplankton may contain usable vitamin B12. So that's something that I know works. I know women who've gone through entire pregnancies now on marine phytoplankton, and I've seen their children, and I kind of seen what's going on. I would also recommend, it's not a complete protein, but a good protein source is maca. And it's also good, the fatty acids in maca are really good for brain chemistry, both of the mother and child. And it's good for production of breast milk. That's another factor as well. What else can we say about children? Making sure that we get the appropriate minerals besides silicon and magnesium. And one of the best ways to do that is with seaweeds, sea vegetables, superfoods, to get the trace minerals, the zinc, the copper, the iodine, etc.
What about creams for children? Because it's hard to get them in.
Yeah, you just have to do the best trick you can do.
Yeah.
A good one, a real good one, what I recommend is taking parsley and blending it into a soup. And you just make a raw soup, like a mush, like parsley and avocado, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of bell pepper. Sometimes you could put a little tomato in there. Sometimes I put pumpkin seeds in there. And then a little olive oil, and blend it up into like a mush. And that's a great way to get green vegetables into a child, because some children, they do it. They'll eat it. They want to eat it. And some children, They don't. So it's tricky.
At what age do you start to give extra food besides breast milk?
Somewhere
And what
around
foods?
1 year old, 1 year of age. Generally, children naturally will start wanting to eat things just before 1 year of age. Usually before, but you can give them avocados at 6 months. You can give them that kind of thing. But when you really start getting into real food, like parsley, things that are, have bitter elements,
They
and
have to wait.
you've got to wait. The child's liver's not fully developed until they're about 2 years old. So there's some space between 1 and 2 where you really can begin to introduce some of the more powerful vegetables, some of the more powerful superfoods.